everyone. Welcome to another Wisdom Well Wednesday. Today we are doing one that's very close to my heart and my favorite modality. We're doing Akashic Records and past life exploration. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm very much looking forward to this one. I did do an episode, my very first Wisdom Well Wednesday, when it was called Live at 5 at the beginning of this year, January the 8th of 2025. It was called Unlocking the Akashic Records, a Beginner's Guide. It was my very first ever one. It was my first ever proper YouTube. It's rubbishy. And I'm not saying that I'm really good at it now, but I'm saying I'm a lot better than I was back then. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be going over the Akashic Records again a little bit. But if you do want to go back and see the awfulness of the beginning of these, then please do go ahead and check that one out. Otherwise, I will be explaining the Akashic Records again in this episode. Have you ever felt a deep connection to a place or time, or encountered patterns in your life that seem to defy explanation? What if you could find answers within a cosmic library containing the secrets of your past lives? Today, we'll unlock the mysteries of the Akashic Records and illuminate your soul's journey. So as I said, this one's very close to my heart. As an Akashic Records practitioner myself, this is my favorite thing to do with everybody. So I'm very excited to talk to you about this today. Understanding our past lives are important. Now, Akashic Records doesn't just do past lives, but today we're just going to talk about it through the lens of past lives. And understanding our past lives can really help with our current lives and our goals, our traumas, our blocks, our relationships, our career, our feelings about ourselves as well. So it's going to be a really exciting episode, and I hope you really enjoy it. So we're going to start with what are the Akashic Records. As I said, I have done an episode before, but let's just go over it again. The Akashic Records is like everybody has their very own library. And that can be in your subconscious, or that can be on another plane of existence. It doesn't really matter what you believe. If you believe anything at all, you can be an atheist, you can be super spiritual, you can be religious, any religion. You can just be someone that doesn't really think about it too much. It doesn't matter. It's your own soul. So if we think of it like a library, this library holds everything that you've ever done and ever could do. And if you believe in past lives, which hopefully you're watching this, you're thinking you might believe in past lives. It also holds all the things that you did in your past lives as well as future lives. So we can actually access past lives within the Akashic Records, and we can discover why they might be affecting us today in this life. The term Akasha actually comes from the Sanskrit word meaning ether or space. So it's that energy from the sky. It's a place that we can go to discover answers for things, as mundane or as out there and woo-woo as you want. We can do absolutely anything up there. And you have these librarians that are your spirit guides. Some of them are purely your Akashic Records guides. Some of them are spirit guides. Some of them are ancestors. You know, some of them are religious figures. We've had clients have religious figures pop in as well. It really doesn't matter. These beings are coming in to help you, and also because these records are so vast, you kind of need a guide to help show you around and point you in the right direction. Okay, so how they connect to past lives is because it holds everything that you've ever done and ever could do. You have absolute access to your Akashic Records, therefore you have absolute access to all of your past lives. Now, when you go up there, you can either be told what's going on, you can just be shown in like a book or picture form or movie screen or something. But more often than not, we do something like a timeline where we'll go along this timeline back into your past lives and actually be immersed into your past life experience. Some people will be in the body of their past life, and some people will be just outside of their body watching. Other people might even just be floating above and watching from like a bird's eye view. And some people, they jump around within that life as well from different perspectives, especially if they're in the body and something bad is happening. They might wish to jump out of that body to just observe instead. So when we go into their past lives, it's because we're needing to learn something at this time about that past life. And that could be that you're simply needing to understand something that's reoccurring for you in this life, quite minor, or it could be something that's a very, very big thing. Perhaps you're always getting into really bad relationships, not just romantic, just everybody that comes into your life is just horrible. Or perhaps you have reoccurring illnesses, or you're never any good with money, like you, or career, you just can't step up in your career ladder. And these are all possibly things that have happened in a past life where you either experienced something and that made you fearful of these things, or it made you decide that you weren't ever going to have that experience again. So a really, really good example might be you had lots of money and you did all this stuff with it, and then something happened, like someone that you loved got killed because of your money, or you became a really nasty person when you came into money or something. Either way, something happened and you at a soul level said, money is bad, I do not want money anymore. And so your soul listened and recorded that. And so in any lives afterwards, you were never able to receive the energy of money because you've put a block there to stop the money from flowing to you. So when you go into your past life, you discover that, you realize why. And if it was something really traumatic, you can actually speak to your past life self and say, this is not something bad, or I forgive you, or, you know, other people forgive you, or whatever it is, or just explain to them why you need the money now, why it would be nice to have money in your life right now, and get your past life to come to this realization or this healing, or just releasing that for you. And then that then trickles down through the lifetimes until it comes to you, and then that block is gone. It sounds really weird and out there, but I've done it so many times with people of, like I said, many different belief systems or no belief system at all, and they've all had really, really, really good results with all of this. So even people that don't believe in past lives, they go in and whatever they think it is, even if they think it's just something they've made up in their mind, it still helps them. It still makes things physically change in their normal lives, or their mentality changes. And it's really, really interesting to watch and to hear the stories afterwards. Okay, so how do we access the Akashic Records? So the way that I like to tell people is, first off, how do you like to meditate? If you like to meditate at all, or something, how do you like to do anything? Do you like to just do it for yourself? Do you like to learn for yourself or meditate for yourself and just sit there, whether it's just to be really peaceful by yourself in somewhere quiet, or you need candles and incense and music and all of this stuff, like you need to make it into a ritual? Do you like to do by yourself? Or do you prefer to listen to guided meditations on, say, YouTube, or join a group where you've got a teacher teaching you to meditate, or, you know, whatever hobby you've got, or learning thing that you want? Do you need a teacher there, someone to guide you through it? And then lastly, do you need to not be in a group with that, or not be in a generic setting for that. Like with the other one was, listening to meditation, so it's not directly to you, it's just like you follow along and hope to keep up. Or if you're in a group doing it, then obviously the teacher or the practitioner is trying to keep everybody in the same place, right? But do you need to have it more personalized? Do you need to have it more unique to you? And that is when you have a private teacher or a private meditation with a meditating practitioner, right? So all that to say is, how do you prefer to do that? And that's how I tell people to go into the records, because you absolutely have full access to your own records. You obviously, as with anything else, need to learn to do it, but it's really not that hard. And even when I have clients coming to me, I always record it. So I tell people, well, now you have the recording bit, the beginning bit. And so all you need to do is, if you still feel that you can't go in by yourself, play the beginning bit of this recording and then press stop. And then continue in your records. When you're ready, you come out the way that, I showed you how to come out. And then you've done it. And then after a while, you can learn to go in for yourself, or you can ask your guides while you're in there, how is it best for me to go in? So this is 100% what you feel comfortable with. The way that I guide people into the Akashic Records is that I do a grounding and running energy thing. I do a thing where we connect to the earth and open up to the heavens, or whatever you want to call it, above, and bring down the energy from above, bring in the energy from below, so that we're grounded to the earth, but we're also open to the divine, or the energies of spiritual energies. And then what happens is, I sort of just get you relaxed. I do like a very short meditation, and then I say something that we call a key. And that is like a prayer or an incantation, a way of accessing the Akashic Records. So I'll say that, and then I will guide my client through a very short visualization at the beginning. And that's so that I can see how well they are seeing, hearing, perhaps smelling, touching, tasting even, or understanding what is around them. Once I'm happy with that, I then get them into their records. Usually people will see a building, more often than not it's a castle, but I've had people that have cottages, or government buildings even, some of them, or something, maybe just a really nice house. And then we go in and it's like this very big library. Most people will see a library. I have had some clients that it was more tech-based, so it was more internet and computers and TV screens and stuff, and that's all perfectly fine as well. It's not actually what it looks like anyway. It's a way of translating it so that your human mind can understand it. So once we're in there, we can ask any questions that you have, and in this case, for this episode, we would be asking about some things that we might think past lives are involved in holding us back in this life, or we can just simply say, what is something from a past life that's affecting me now? And then our guides will usually take us into a past life or a couple of past lives, and show us what's going on there, and how and why we need to release that. So it's a very, 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 very cool modality. And just to say as well, that's the way that I do it. That's the way that I was taught. I was taught to be an Akashic Records coach. So even if I know the answer, that's my job to blurt it out to you. My job is to get you to see and understand, and to say it for yourself. Obviously, if I get messages that you're not, I will tell you. If you're really not understanding what your guides are saying, or the images that are coming to you, then I will obviously help you. But my whole job is to get you to take control and empower you to take your life into your own hands. What a lot of Akashic Records readers, not all of them obviously, because I'm not the only one that does it this way, a lot of them will just go in for you and do it for you. So that may be a way that you want to experience it. Personal preference, I think it's so much better if you go in for yourself, because then you are having that complete understanding for yourself. So if you can learn to go in for yourself, or you can find someone like myself that coaches you and takes you in, I would highly recommend that rather than you just getting someone to do it for you. Some little extra things, especially if you're doing it for yourself, or even if you're using a teacher or guided meditation or a practitioner like myself. I would also say if you know how to do journaling, include that as well. Like do some journaling before or after, especially after, because you are still a little bit connected. Do some journaling and just with some prompts or just free writing, and see what else is coming up for you around your visit to the Akashic Records to do with your past lives or whatever you went in for. Dream journaling as well, especially once you've been into the Akashic Records, you might find that evening your dreams might be a lot more vivid, or you might feel they have more of a meaning to them. Write those down after you have experienced Akashic Records journeys. If you do tarot or oracle, by all means use those during or after, just to get those extra messages coming through, because again, they're your records. You are constantly connected whether you realize or not, but your door is shut. So you need to learn to open that door up so that you can go in and experience and get these answers. So tarot and oracle are a really good way of opening up that doorway and that portal, that bridge, whatever you want to call it, to receive those answers a bit clearer as well. Okay, so why would you go in to a past life Akashic Records? I think we've already covered some of them, but let's just go over a few common ones or some ones that I recommend that you would go in for. Like I said, healing any kind of reoccurring patterns in your life, when it's something that's constantly going on for you, you're constantly in a bad relationship, you're constantly not doing well at school or at work, or you're having some kind of freedom problem or housing problem or money problem. Money is such a usual one, right? So it's possibly based from, it can be traumas in this lifetime, but a lot of the time it can also be, yes, traumas in this time because of traumas or events or beliefs in a past life. So it's really, really good to go into your records and discover the why. Go to that root cause, discover the why. And if you're being shown it in the records, it's because you're able to release. You're at a soul level, you're at a stage that you're allowed to release it. Your human side, however, might take over and say, nope, no, I want to hold on to it a little bit longer. That is also fine. You never have to do anything that you don't want to do in your records. So that leads on to obviously like limiting beliefs, limiting patterns, blocks. They're all unresolved issues from lifetimes. And so it's very, very common to, like, everybody has them, right? So, but if you go in and you get rid of them and release them, you're going to find that your current life changes so much better and a lot quicker than you would imagine as well, because you've now got rid of that barrier. You obviously still have to do stuff, but it's going to be easier. It's not going to be pushing against, the sludge, or the brick wall is not going to come up all the time. You're going to have a lot more ease of access to these things once you've gone into the past life and released and null and voided all of those. So I didn't write this down, but yeah, so like contracts and things. So you'll have like soul contracts with other souls, other people, but also you'll have soul vows as well that you make to yourself. So for example, if you took a vow of poverty in a past life, you may have then carried that over into future lives, and therefore you still on a soul level have a vow of poverty. Your vow of poverty means that money is not being able to come to you. So that's why we go back and we realize why you took that vow of poverty. You talk to your past life self, and you say, well, let's kind of release that now because you kind of learned that lesson and we don't need to be poor anymore. And then that block's then gone, right? Um, and then soul contract with other souls is where perhaps you had an agreement with other souls. So for good or bad, relationships that you have in this lifetime could have been decided beforehand because one of you wanted to know what it was like to be betrayed. So the other one steps in and says, yes, I will be the one that you fall in love with, or that, you know, will be a family member or something, and then I will betray you and you will feel that grief. And that sounds ridiculous. Like, why would our souls want to do that? But we could go really deep, and it's probably not the time to go into it now, but maybe I'll do that in a future one. But your soul wants to experience being human, and being human is that duality of that polar opposites. It's the love and the happiness and the joy and the ecstasy of life and the amazingness of it all. But to know that, to fully appreciate that, we also have to know what sadness is. We have to know what grief is. We have to know what anger is. We have to know all of these negative things. We need to know what it's like to feel that down. Because if we didn't have that, then we wouldn't know what it was like to be so high and so happy and all of this stuff. But that goes really, really deep, and we don't really have time to do today. But absolutely, I will do an episode on that, or I will just talk to you one-on-one on that if you're interested. Just went off on a tangent there. I apologize, but it's relevant. It's relevant to this episode. Also, so let always talk about negative in these things, but let's talk about positive. Like, do you have a really natural ability for something? Are you a brilliant artist? Were you able to just pick up a certain musical instrument and just play it so naturally? Do you have a wonderful communication skills, or are you a healer? All of these things are gifts that you have, and they are usually found in past lives as well. A lot of my clients will come to me who are healers, who are people that um, have some kind of natural healing or psychic or whatever ability, but they don't feel like they quite can access it. There's some kind of block there with their natural ability. They know it's part of them. They know it's so powerful, just can't access it. And using healing, because it's a nice, easy one, and it's hundreds of clients have done this. It's usually because they were a healer or a psychic or someone spiritual in a past life. They were probably one in every lifetime, to be honest. Healers are pretty much every lifetime, or something similar. But in one of their lives was, say, a witch hunt, and they were accused of witchcraft, or even if they weren't, they just had that fear of being accused, anything like that. Just some people just decided that, oh, you're a healer, but now everyone's sick and you're not healing them all as fast as you should be, or you healed them all, but you're a witch, or whatever it is. Like, so these are times when your soul makes that vow to maybe not have that gift anymore, or just rein it in. Like, don't be too out there with it, or don't show your true potential and your true power in this ability. And that's when we go into a past life and we find out why our soul sort of cut this off, or really, really made themselves small with it. And we can tell them, like, now we don't have witch hunts. Now we don't need to be fearful anymore. Like, allow us to help people again at the capacity that we're able to. And once we've spoken with our past life self, and we have understood why they did it, we can get them to release it, and we can heal from it, and we can then call it back in. A soul gift retrieval is incredible. We literally call back the gifts that we've left behind or we made small, and we call them back in, and it's such a beautiful thing to witness. Anyway, okay, so we also did relationships a little bit, but yeah, so relationships can be karmic bonds, they can be soulmates, and soulmate doesn't just mean that one. Soulmate can mean a whole group of souls that come in, and not just as romantic, but best friends, as family members, as a neighbor or someone. Like, these souls are soulmates. They gather, and they always come together in every, or at least many of your lifetimes. You will always be together because you'll have you want to experience the lives together, and you want to learn from each other together. And of course, going into past lives, you can actually find out what your purpose is in this life. You can see what you learn in past lives, and why you decided to learn those lessons, and what that was building to. Was that building up to something? Did you have to learn in all of these past lives all of these things so that in this life you would have the knowledge at a soul level and the wisdom at a soul level to be something amazing? Very, very cool. We could really get into some amazing stuff, but yeah, I'm going to try and wind up a little bit now. Um, I already did a few examples, but yeah, so healers, we've just gone through healers, like they're very, very common for my clients. I have a lot of people that struggle with money and business, whether that is as an employee or as an entrepreneur. There's problems around getting to that next level. And a lot of my clients, yes, it's been stuff with this lifetime, but then we've also gone back further, right? That wasn't the root cause of it. It was something that needed to be healed in this lifetime, but we needed to go back to another lifetime. And a lot of these ones are because something happened in that lifetime where we maybe hurt people. And so we decided, I don't want money, or I don't want to be the CEO of a company because I was that in a past lifetime, and my job or my money meant that people died or that they were really hurt, and I feel terrible. I need to atone. I need forgiveness for that. And the way that I do that is to not go higher, is to not allow money to come to me. And that's not right. um Again, that could go really, really deep, and maybe that needs to be another episode. But so I have had a lot of clients where that's been the case. Like one of my clients many years back, he actually was the manager or higher up person in this factory making bombs. And so he never forgave himself for that, because he knew these bombs were going to go and kill people and hurt people. And this was not something that, because he just needed the job, right? And he didn't like the fact that that's what he was bringing into the world. So in this life, he really struggled to feel that he was worthy enough to go up the career ladder. And many other examples, which we won't go into now because I'm just seeing the time now. And yeah, and then once we do these past life regressions in the Akashic Records, our guides can then tell us, or they can either help us go through a healing, which is really, really cool as well if that's needed, but then they can also show us what now we can do with that. Why they then showed you that lifetime and that trauma or that block, and what that now means for you. Like, what you need to do once you get off this call, what do you need to do to go forward, to actually embrace this cleared block or this new found or refound gift. Like, what does this now mean for you? This is how you then bring it down. You bring it down into the physical. So from your records building, you're bringing that energy into your physical self so that you now have the path cleared so you can actually go on your soul mission a lot easier, or go through life a lot easier. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap that up because I will talk about this forever and probably go off on a lot more tangents than I have already. I do apologize. Those of you still here, thank you so much for always listening to me prattle on. Um, I don't know why I write notes, honestly. So if you have had a past life regression in any way, whether it's the Akashic Records or just hypnosis or any other way, I would love to hear your experiences or your lessons that you learned. Just anything that you want to share, either contact me personally or leave some comments in, you know, the comments. And because I always love to hear people's experiences in all of these, and let us know how it affected your life now after doing these experiences. Like, how did it affect your actual life going forward, but also how did it affect the way that you view things, how you view your life and your knowledge now that you've seen a past self. As usual, please do like and subscribe and notification button on all of those things, because it really does make me smile when I see that someone's watched and liked it. So yes, I really do appreciate you guys encouraging me with all of this. So thank you. Next week we are doing mindfulness and oracle cards, using cards to cultivate inner wisdom. So if you have any oracle cards, please do bring them along next week, because, well, I'm just going to say I don't think I plan to do this, but we'll do another interactive one with the oracle deck, because it's nice and easy to do interactive with oracle, and they're fun, and we'll do some mindfulness stuff next week. So please do join me next week. Thank you very much.
From the wisdom well, keep shining, continue learning, and stay curious. Until next Wednesday.